back to Richmond Public Library Presents Full Steam Ahead. I'm Mr. Lewis from the Ginter Park Library, and today we're going to be making paper baskets. We're going to be using colorful strips of paper to make these cute little baskets. Should be a lot of fun. Let's get started. So for this craft, here are the supplies you're going to need. You're going to need a ruler, pencil, scissors, a glue stick, and 6 pieces of construction paper. Now I have 6 pieces because I'm using 6 different colors, but depending on how many colors you want to use, this will vary. You'll get enough strips out of even just 1 piece of paper to cover about half of the box. So you're going to want at least 2, possibly 3 to be on the safe side. If you're doing just 2 colors, you can have like 2 of one and 1 of the other, or you can just to be on the extra safe side, you can have 2 of each color. If you're having different color combinations, you just want at least 1 of each color, because you should get enough strips to form the lattice work. With even just 1 page, you'll get enough for about half of the box. Okay, so first we're going to measure and cut out all the strips that we're going to need. So for this, I have a piece of paper that is 12 inches by 9 inches. All right, so most of the standard construction pages are roughly 12 by 9. So what we're going to do is we're going to divide this up into strips that are 1.5 inch wide. So you just mark out from beginning to end 1.5, 3 inches, 4.5, 6 inches, and 7.5. That gives us 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 strips. Okay? I want you to do the same on the other side. All right, measure 1 to 9, so 1.5, 3, 4.5, 6, 7.5, and then 9. Okay, next we just make sure that they are straight, so we line them up end to end. And now this doesn't have to be exactly perfect. If they're off by, a certain amount of distance, it's not a huge deal. They just want them to be as close to 1.5 inches wide as possible. All right, it's almost impossible to get perfectly straight lines and perfectly straight cuts each time. So a little bit of variation is not that big of a deal. So now all we have to do is cut out the strips. So once you've cut out all the strips that you need, again, you're going to want about 12 strips in total. Now I'm using 6 colors, like I said before, so I have it in such a way that I have 2 red, 2 orange, 1 green, 1 yellow, 3 purple, and 3 blue. Now the reason I have this is because you need 2 strips in order to go the entire length around the basket. So you're going to need an extra strip for whatever color is going to go up around the sides of the basket. In this case, I'm going to be using purple and blue. So you need extras of those, but you only need 1 of yellow and green because you're only going to use those once. All right, now if you're only using 2 colors, then you only will need 12 in total anyway. And depending on how you mix up the colors, just know that you need 12 strips in total. All right, so next what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to figure out how you want to prepare these strips. Now, the basket we're going to be making is going to be 4 strips wide and 4 strips long. What I mean by that is each strip is 1.5 inches wide, so 4 strips wide would be 6 inches. All right, so our basket will be 6 inches wide and 6 inches long, and then it will be 2 strips high, so 3 inches deep. All right, so what we need to do is we need to figure out exactly what the dimensions will be with our strips of paper. So what we do is we measure out. We know it's 12 inches, and we know it's going to be 6 inches in the middle and 3 inches on the side. So we measure out 3 inches, and we mark out 9 inches. And then what we do is we crease the strip right around there. so it has a bend. Okay. Just like that. And you're going to want to do that with all the ones that are going to be forming the bottom. So not the ones that will go around the edge. So you're going to want to take 4 of the strips, in this case 2 purple and 2 blue, and set them aside. And then all the rest, we're going to do this. We're going to mark out 3 inches on each side, so 6 inches in the middle. We're going to fold and crease. Okay, so once we have creased all of our strips, we're ready to start latticing them up. So what we're going to need is the first 4. Going to go down like so. Okay, and then, oops, that is the wrong order. Because I'm making a rainbow colored one, so we red, orange, yellow, green, blue. Then we'll start over with purple, red, and orange. I've got a little bit of glue on this one already, but that's okay. So now it's time to start the actual process of latticing them. Okay, so what you want to do is you want to alternate them over and under. Okay, so this goes over, under, over. Might look a little messy at first, but just stick with it and it'll all come together. Okay, so this goes like so. Right, and this goes under, over, and under. Okay, and then this last one goes under, over, under, over. Okay, now it looks like a bit of a mess, but once we start actually sliding them all into their proper places, they'll quickly come together to form the proper lattice and shape that we want. See? So stick with it, even if it looks like it's getting a mess. Just stick with it, because it will all come together in the end. Okay? Now, try to make sure that it's lined up as decently as possible and as square as possible. Once you start gluing it down, you're not going to have a ton of time to make the adjustments that you need. All right? So you're going to want these to be about 3 inches from the edge. If we did our math right, that should be exactly where it is. So we can fold this over, fold that over, fold this over, fold this over, okay, fold this over, push it in a little bit so that, right, this is to help it be square and even. Okay, fold this over like that, and over like that. That should be able to fold over like this. This needs to be able to fold over. And so on. There we go. Okay, so now that we have this down, we can start gluing into place. So put the glue here and down. Okay, bit of glue here and down. Okay, bit of glue here okay. Sometimes accidents happen, and we can quickly fix them. Not too much of an issue. Make sure they're as square and even as possible. This is where it helps to have that crease so that you can fold them over and see that they still are fitting properly. Okay? Then after that, it's basically just a process of gluing down all the strips that you want. You don't need to glue down every single one, but the more obviously that you glue down, the stronger the actual basket will be in the end. So I recommend gluing down a fair number. Okay. Especially the ones that don't have anything covering them, like so. Okay. Make sure it is as square and even as possible. Okay, that's why we have those creases there. Because once the glue dries, it's not going to move as well. So once we have our base all set up and ready to go, it's time to start building up the sides. So this is where you're going to need two strips of the colors you're going to be using on the sides. All right, because one of these will only go about halfway around the box. Okay, so what you need to do is you need to go about halfway down a strip to the corner, and then you're going to want to crease it, give or take. It doesn't have to be exact in this case, but you want to have it so that there's an overlap in the middle of that. So now this strip here has to be 6 inches. So you take it from the crease, 6 inches to there, okay? And then we crease that. Okay, and then we're going to match that with the second strip. So this first one is just about there. This doesn't have to be 100% exact, but the closer it is, the better off you will be. Okay, so make that first crease, measure out 6 inches from the crease, about there, crease it over. There you have the two more or less equally creased strips. So now we are going to start the process of actually building up the sides. So we're going to want to crease these a little bit harder so that they will stand up better. Okay. Just like so. All right. And then again, we want to alternate. So it'll be behind the orange, over the red, behind the orange, over the red, behind the purple, over the blue. Okay, so it's in the corner, like so. And then it's going to be behind the red, over the orange, and end up behind the yellow. Just like so. Now again, this may look like a bit of a mess at first, but once everything is in place, it will all come together. And then the next one, start where the last one picked up. So behind the yellow, over the green, behind the blue, over the purple, behind the red, over the orange, behind the green, over the yellow and back to the purple. Just like so. See? This is going to be very finicky, and it's a little difficult to get it to stay put properly because it doesn't want to hold its shape. So it's going to take some time and some practice. All right, so now we're going to want to begin the process of gluing down these strips. So first, match it to the corner and push against right there. Hold that for a second so the glue takes. Make sure it is nice and even. And we're going to do the same with the next one. The red. Push it up against it. Just like so. Okay. There we go. Okay. Give that a second. And it's time for the next piece. See, now it's starting to take its shape the way we want it to. Okay. Okay. Make sure you're alternating over and under properly, because it's very easy to get that mixed up. It doesn't have to be exact, again, there's going to be some room for error, but overall, this looks pretty good, right? Okay. So now we're going to do the same thing with the next layer, okay? Probably shouldn't start on the same side, just to make things as nice and even as possible. So we're going to go about halfway, again, to a corner, to about here. Okay. I'm going to measure that out. So from here to here is 6 inches. Make that crease. Okay. And do the same thing with this one. Here. Fold it, crease it, and you're all ready to go. Okay, so we are going to switch the way we had it the first time. So wherever a color was over, now it's under. Wherever it was under, now it will be over. So if you have leftover strips, which you should because you get a lot more than what you need just from cutting the construction paper, we're going to make the rim. Now I'm going to use 4 different colors just to add that extra rainbow effect. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to fold them in half, like so, because this will be approximately 6 inches, right? And cut them in half, like so. All right, you're going to do that with all 4 of them until you have 4 strips that are approximately 6 inches long by 1.5 inches wide. All right, so now that we have our strips, what we're going to do is we're going to fold them in half lengthwise. Like this. Okay, then I'm going to put glue all along it. All right, I'm going to take one side, like so. All right, matching the corners. And when you have it good and ready, fold it down like that. All right, we'll do that with all 4 strips. All right, fold in half. Add glue. All right, that's it for a couple minutes. Make sure all the glue dries. But you are all done. Look at that. See? It all came together in the end. Not 100% perfect, but it's fairly sturdy. All right? And it's very colorful and a lot of fun.